Picture this. You're in a crowded hall, hundreds of voices echoing, and suddenly, someone calls your name. Instantly, without conscious thought, your body responds. Your head turns, your heart quickens, your entire nervous system awakens. That reaction might seem ordinary, but it hides a secret so profound that ancient civilizations built entire spiritual systems around it. They knew what we've forgotten. Your name is not just a label. It is a frequency, a living vibration that carries the blueprint of your very being. The ancient Egyptians called it your REN, a forbidden key to the truth of who you really are. To know your REN was to awaken your destiny. To lose it was to lose your soul. But here's the mystery. Most people today have never heard their true name, not once, not even from themselves. Instead, we live under borrowed names, borrowed identities, borrowed expectations. We wear masks shaped by society, family, and culture, all while the true resonance of our being lies buried beneath layers of noise. Why do you think silence feels so uncomfortable in modern life? Why does your heart race at the thought of disappointing others? Or why do you find yourself chasing approval in likes, paychecks, and status? It's because the system we live in thrives on keeping you disconnected from your REN, your authentic essence. The moment you find it, you become harder to control, harder to manipulate, and impossible to break. In this journey, we are going to dive deep into this forgotten wisdom. We will travel through the temples of ancient Egypt, uncover the esoteric technologies of sound and vibration, and reveal why the REN was so fiercely guarded. You'll discover how this hidden name connects to your nervous system, your emotions, and your ability to shape reality itself. And most importantly, you will learn how to begin hearing your own REN again, to awaken the forbidden frequency that has been with you since birth, patiently waiting for you to remember. So the question is, are you ready to hear the name you've carried in silence all along? In the land of the Nile, where towering pyramids stretched toward the heavens and hieroglyphs whispered secrets on temple walls, the ancients guarded a truth so potent it was considered forbidden to speak aloud. They called it the REN, the hidden name, the eternal identity that tethered a person's soul to the cosmos. In Egyptian thought, the self was not a single entity, but a constellation of forces. There was the Ka, the life force, the Ba, the personality or soul bird that could travel between worlds, the Shoit, the shadow that followed every living being. But among these, the REN was most crucial. It was believed that as long as your name was remembered, your essence endured beyond death. To erase a person's REN was to annihilate their existence completely, body, spirit, and legacy. Pharaohs carved their names deep into stone, not merely to be remembered by history, but because they believed their eternal life depended on it. Meanwhile, the priests of the temples guarded the sacred utterances of the gods, knowing that names carried the raw power of creation itself. This wasn't superstition, it was an esoteric science of vibration. To speak a true name was to call forth its energy, to awaken what slept within. But this knowledge was never meant for everyone. In the temples of Karnak and Luxor, initiates spent years learning disciplines of silence, sound, and posture before they were permitted even to approach the mysteries of the REN. Why? Because to know your true name was to be free. A free human being, one who knew their authentic essence, was impossible to enslave, impossible to manipulate, impossible to control. That is why history has buried this teaching beneath layers of myth and allegory. Over centuries, the sacred truth of the REN became obscured, reduced to a mere name on paper. The deeper teaching that your REN is a frequency signature of your true identity was lost in translation. Yet traces of this wisdom echo across civilizations. In the Orphic mysteries of Greece, initiates whispered sacred names believed to unlock divine memory. In Hinduism, the concept of Nantama, the name, became central to mantras that vibrate the soul's essence. In Sufi traditions, Repetitive chanting of the divine names was used to pierce through illusion and align with truth. All of these traditions point to the same hidden understanding. Your authentic self can be called back through sound, vibration, and recognition of your true name. But in our modern world, where identity is manufactured through status, branding, and social labels, this knowledge has been deliberately obscured. Why? Because when you forget your REN, you become pliable clay in the hands of systems that thrive on your confusion. You trade authenticity for approval, silence for distraction, and freedom for conformity. The REN is dangerous not because it harms, but because it awakens. It dissolves illusions and returns power to where it always belonged within you. In the chapters to come, we will explore exactly how the ancients preserved this knowledge, the subtle technologies they employed, and how rediscovering your own REN today can transform the way you live, breathe, and move in the world. The question remains, if your true name holds the key to freedom, why have you never been allowed to hear it? Let us begin with a simple truth that most people overlook. The sound of your name has power over you. When someone calls it, your entire nervous system lights up. This is not just social conditioning. It's biology, vibration, and resonance at work. The ancients understood this long before neuroscience began mapping the brain. They knew that a name isn't just a word. It's a frequency, a key that unlocks the inner chambers of identity. But here's the tragedy. Most of us don't live by our true name. We live by borrowed names, borrowed identities, and borrowed expectations. Think about it. From the moment you were born, people began naming you, labeling you, and projecting identities onto you. The smart one, the quiet one, the difficult one, the achiever. Over time, you became fluent in playing these roles. But deep inside, your authentic essence, the true vibration of your REN, was drowned out by the noise of performance. This isn't an accident, it's a design. Our world thrives on keeping you distracted, fragmented, and disconnected from your inner voice. Consider this. The average person checks their phone over 150 times a day. Each buzz, ping, and notification pulls you away from your natural rhythm and back into an external loop of validation. You become addicted to comparison, scrolling through curated images designed to make you doubt yourself. The algorithms profit from your insecurity, because a person who doubts who they are is always searching, always consuming. The ancients would have called this a kind of soul theft. A person cut off from their REN is easy to steer, easy to manipulate, and easy to keep trapped in a life that doesn't belong to them. And you've probably felt it, those moments when you achieve something you thought would fulfill you, only to be left with emptiness. Or those times when you're surrounded by people, yet feel profoundly alone. That's not failure. That is the voice of your REN, whispering that you've wandered too far from who you really are. The Egyptians weren't the only ones who saw this danger. Across traditions, the hidden name appears again and again. In Jewish mysticism, the true name of God is never spoken aloud because it carries unfiltered power. In certain native traditions, children were given secret names used only in ceremony to protect their spiritual essence from harm. In India, the practice of nama japa, the repetition of a sacred name, was believed to align the soul with its true vibration. Everywhere we look, the message is the same. Names are more than words. They are living frequencies that tether the soul to its authentic nature. Now imagine what happens when your entire life has been lived under names that don't belong to you. When your worth is measured by performance, by how much approval you can earn, by how well you play a role that someone else wrote for you. Slowly, you begin outsourcing your identity. You stop asking, what feels true to me? Instead, you ask, what will they approve of? What will look good on paper? Your REN fades into silence, buried beneath the weight of expectations. But here's the breakthrough. Your REN can never truly be destroyed. No matter how deeply it's buried, it waits. It waits in silence, in breath, in those fleeting moments when you stop performing and feel the raw truth of your being. That quiet recognition, that sudden awareness of I am, is the first whisper of your REN returning. The ancients guarded this wisdom because they knew that once a person remembered their REN, they became free in ways that frightened rulers and systems of control. A person who knows their true name no longer chases empty symbols of worth. They don't buy into illusions of status or play roles that suffocate their spirit. Instead, they walk through the world as themselves, unaltered, unshaken, unbound. This is why the REN was called forbiddance. Not because it was dangerous to you, but because it was dangerous to the structures that depend on your silence. And so, the real question emerges. If your authentic essence has been hidden from you, how do you begin to hear it again? To answer the question of how to hear your REN again, we must look deeper into what the ancients truly meant by this forbiddance name. It was never just about phonetics or letters on papyrus, it was about resonance. Your REN is not spoken the way you think of names today. It is felt, breathed, vibrated into being. It is the frequency of your authentic self, waiting to be recognized. The Egyptians developed what we might call REN technology. Practices designed to keep a person aligned with their true essence, even amidst the pressures of society. These weren't mystical fantasies. They were practical sciences of sound, posture, and awareness. One of the most powerful was the practice of Haka sacred utterance, the science of aligned vibration. They believed that certain tones could activate the nervous system, shifting the body out of fear and into presence. Modern neuroscience confirms this. When you hum or chant in low resonant tones, you stimulate the vagus nerve, calming the fight or flight response and opening access to clarity, compassion, and authentic self-expression. Another principle was the Jed pillar, often depicted in hieroglyphs as a column of stability. Mystically, it represented the spine and the awareness of being centered. Today, we call this proprioception, the ability to feel the body's position in space. The Egyptians observed that when a person lost connection to their physical center, they became easier to manipulate, more reactive, and less authentic. But when one stood rooted in their jet upright, aligned, balanced, they could resist external pressure and remain true to their REN. Perhaps the most enigmatic was the feather of Mat test. While popular culture reduces it to a judgment scene in the afterlife, its deeper meaning was psychological. The priest would watch how a person's breath, posture, and presence shifted when they recalled certain experiences. If the heart grew heavy, if breathing became shallow, it revealed unresolved emotional weight-borrowed identities, shame, and conditioning. To live with a light heart was not about moral purity, but about freedom from false identities. This idea didn't remain in Egypt. It traveled through the Greek Orphic mysteries, where sacred songs kept initiates aligned with their essence. It shaped Indian pranayama, where controlled breathing preserved clarity under spiritual pressure. It echoed in Sufi dhikr, repetitive chanting that regulated the nervous system while aligning with the divine. Different cultures, one truth. To know your REN is to reclaim yourself from illusion. But here's the paradox. The REN cannot be forced, claimed, or performed. It cannot be branded, marketed, or captured in external approval. In fact, the harder you chase it, the further it slips away. Why? Because the REN emerges only in states of authenticity, when you stop performing borrowed roles. This is why silence feels so threatening in our world. Sit still without distraction, and suddenly the borrowed voices become loud. The teacher who told you to behave, the parent who told you to be strong, the boss who told you to work harder. Beneath those voices, if you stay long enough, something quieter stirs your own voice. The REN. Modern culture tells you that intuition is naive, that gut feelings are untrustworthy, that logic and external data should rule your decisions. But all the data in the world is useless if you don't know who you truly are. The REN is that compass. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And once you hear it, you realize it was always there, quietly guiding you beneath the noise. This is why myths and legends speak of the secret name. It isn't about discovering some magical word. It's about discovering yourself. A secret that was never outside of you, but hidden beneath the layers of performance and conditioning. So when we speak of the REN, we are really speaking of the art of self-recognition, the ability to feel the difference between who you actually are and who the world has told you to be. And once you can feel that difference, you can choose. And choice is where your true power begins. So far, we've explored the mystery of the REN, the hidden name, the authentic frequency of who you really are. But knowing about it is only half the journey. The true transformation begins when you practice listening to that voice, tuning into the vibration that was always yours. The ancients left us tools, and modern science now confirms their wisdom. These aren't abstract theories. They are practices you can begin right now. 1. The breath of recognition. Start with the breath. The Egyptians knew that shallow breathing cuts you off from your authentic self, while deep, rhythmic breathing reconnects you. Modern neuroscience proves that an extended exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling safety to the body. Try this. Inhale gently for 4 counts, then exhale for 8. Do this 3 times, and you'll notice your awareness shift. This is the doorway to hearing your REN, because only in safety does authenticity emerge. 2. The hum of resonance. After the breath, add sound. The ancients used chants, mantras, and hymns to awaken the REN. You don't need elaborate rituals. Just hum. Yes, hum. But here's the secret. Do it softly, at the threshold of audibility. This subtle vibration activates the vagus nerve and creates internal resonance. It's not about volume, but about feeling the sound travel through your chest and bones. With practice, you'll notice a subtle difference. Your thoughts lose their grip, and your own preferences, your own authentic responses, begin to surface. 3. The pillar of centering. Stand as the Egyptians once did in what they called Jed awareness. Find the posture where your skeleton supports you effortlessly. Not stiff, not slouch, simply aligned. When your body is centered, your mind follows. In this state, you become harder to push around by others and by your own reactivity. You'll find that decisions feel clearer, your boundaries steadier, your voice truer. 4. The feather test. In daily life every day. Test the weight of your heart. The ancients symbolized this with Mot's feather. Practically, it means asking, does this choice make me feel lighter or heavier? When you agree to something that betrays your authentic self, there's a subtle contraction, tight shoulders, shallow breath, heaviness in the chest. When you act in alignment with your REN, there's expansion, a sense of ease, even if the choice is difficult. Begin noticing these signals. They are the language of your hidden name. 5. Micro moments of presence. Finally, weave presence into the ordinary. Don't wait for rituals or retreats. Use doorways, car rides, or logins as reminders. Each time you cross a threshold, pause. Take 1 breath, 1 hum, and silently ask, who is stepping through? This simple practice keeps you connected to your REN amidst the chaos of daily life. Of course, the first obstacle will be resistance. Your mind will insist that the borrowed identities are who you really are. At first, authenticity may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. That's because performance has been rewarded your whole life, while your REN has been silenced. But with gentle repetition, the nervous system learns. Authenticity is safe. Presence is home. This isn't about perfection. It's about cultivating moments where you remember yourself. Over time, those moments accumulate. You stop reacting from borrowed roles and begin responding from who you actually are. You speak, move, and decide with clarity. And that is how you reclaim your forbidden name, not by searching outside, but by remembering the resonance that has been within you all along. You've now glimpsed the forbidden wisdom of the REN, the hidden name that carries the essence of who you truly are. The ancients guarded it because they understood its power. A person connected to their authentic frequency cannot be bought, bent, or broken. They walk differently, breathe differently, live differently. Think back on your own life. How many victories have felt strangely hollow? How many choices were made to please, to conform, to perform for approval rather than to honor your truth? This is the cost of living under borrowed names. But the moment you begin to listen, through breath, through silence, through resonance, you feel something shift, a lightness, a centering, a whisper that says, "This is me." The REN isn't some exotic secret locked away in ancient tombs. It isn't a treasure waiting at the end of a pilgrimage. It is here, now woven into your very being. The silence you avoid, the hum you overlook, the posture you ignore, these are the gateways back to yourself. The ancients knew it. They carved it in stone, wrapped it in ritual, guarded it with myth. But the truth is simple. You were never meant to live as a stranger to your own essence. And so, the question that lingers is this: will you keep wearing the masks handed to you by the world? Or will you dare to hear the vibration of your own forbidden name? If this message has stirred something inside you, perhaps it is your REN calling. Pay attention, breathe deeply, hum softly, stand in your center, test the weight of your heart. With each practice, you peel back another layer of noise until what remains is undeniable you. The journey doesn't end here. It begins every moment you choose to live authentically. Because the REN is not just about who you are. It is about who you are becoming once you are free. So tell me, what do you feel stirring within you right now? Could it be the faint echo of your true name, finally breaking through the silence?